Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Hi everyone! So I had originally planned to do fruitiger arrow, crochet, and knit pieces, and then another video that's Ghibli themed, but right now, for those projects, I ordered a whole bunch of yarn, and it was 3 packages in total. So the first package, it says it was delivered, but it's nowhere to be found, so I'm guessing it's where the other 2 packages is, which is US Customs. It's been in there for the past week. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get out of customs. And usually when I order yarn internationally, it goes through customs real fast and everything. But this time around, it's been taking longer in US Customs, and instead of me just waiting for them to come, because it could be another week, it could be like 3 months, I don't know. So I decided to make some granny square projects in the meantime. For both the granny square and the halter top, I started the square by first creating a slip knot and chaining 4. After, I slip stitched into the first stitch of the chain, which joins it in the round. I chained 2, and in the little gap that joining in the round made, I worked 2 double crochets. The chain 2 that I started with counts as a double crochet. After, I chained 2, and in that same space worked 3 double crochets. After, I chained 2 and worked another 3 double crochets. I repeated this one more time to create a total of 4 sets of 3 double crochets. To end the first row, I chained 2 and slip stitched into the first stitch of the row. I then slip stitched down the stitches until I reached the closest gap. There, I placed my hook inside the corner stitch and switched my yarn to another color by attaching it to my hook. To start the second row, I chained 2 and worked 2 double crochets into that same space. After, I chained 2 again and worked 3 double crochets into that same exact space. In the next space and the other 2 spaces after that, I worked 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Doing this forms the corner sections of the square. Once I reached the end of the row, I slip stitched into the first stitch of the row, then slip stitched down until the next chain 2 gap. In that gap, I attached my next color and chain 2, which counts as a double crochet. For row 3 and all the rows until the last row, which for me was row 6, for the first corner space I worked 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, all in the same space. Then in the middle, which is between 2 corner spaces, I worked only 3 double crochets. The middle sections don't need any chains, just 3 double crochets. Then in the other corner spaces, I worked 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Again, the middle spaces only get 3 double crochets. and then the corner spaces get 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Once I finished row 6 and the square was to my liking, I slip stitched into the first stitch of the row, chained 1, cut the yarn, and pulled to secure. The square measures out to 10.5 inches by 10.5 inches. I just finished 4 squares so far, and this is how much I have of the border color left. I have 2 more of these, thankfully. That's why I decided to use this as the border color, because I have this the most. But I am kind of worried, since if this is how much I have left after 4 of them, and I have to make 3 more sets of 4, I am kind of worried about how much yarn I'm gonna have left over and how to compensate with that and not ruin the color scheme of it all. I'm also scared of running out of the other colors as well. Like, this is how much of the white I have left over after 4, which isn't that bad. I feel like I can possibly make this stretch for another 4, and then this would stretch out for the last 2 sets of 4 afterwards. But I only have 1 black. I think I have another weight 6 black yarn in the closet, but I'm gonna worry about that once I start actually running out of the yarn. But for now, I'm just gonna continue working on the squares. I ended up running out of the yarn incredibly fast and had to reach for the extra bulky yarn that I already had, which was this burnt orange and highlighted black yarn, which thankfully worked well with the other colors. I have all but 1 square done, and this is how much left I have of the border. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what to do. I'm thinking of taking maybe one of these apart and then replacing this with a different color, and then maybe I can combine that with the border color over here. And I'll probably have to do that with maybe 2 of them just to get enough for the border. So I'm gonna do that. So after I said that, I went into the closet to see if I had any color matches. And I do have this one yarn. It's a weight 5, so I'm thinking of doubling it, and then I can just use this to finish this last square, and then everything works out as close as possible, which I'm pretty happy about. Like, props to me having all of this yarn in that closet. So I went ahead and doubled the yarn, which was a bit of a process since I had to unwind the yarn, then find one end and pull half of the yarn to one side without it tangling, and then pull it back to the other side, but this time with both ends together. I don't really know how to explain it right now, but all you need to know is that it worked. I was able to finish my last square, and in total I had 16 squares for the cardigan. I just separated everything into sections, so this is going to be one of the front panels, this is going to be another, this is going to be the back panel. This is going to be one of the arms, and this is going to be the other arm. So now all I'm going to do is, from the wrong side, just stitch them all together with a long piece of yarn going vertically and horizontally, but not the front panels. So the front panels, I'm just working vertically, and then that's that. And then attaching the back panel vertically and horizontally. But I'll show you as I go. I went ahead and began attaching the squares together, starting with the front panels. So like I said earlier, I just stitched the 2 squares together horizontally for one front panel, and then repeated that for the second front panel. I did this with a tapestry needle, but it can be done with slip stitching as well. For the back panel as well as the arm panels, I first stitched the squares together horizontally, and then vertically to make a large square essentially. To attach the front and back panels together, I just attached the tops of both panels together. Here I show that I only attached it halfway, but after trying it on after doing that, I decided to attach it all the way, so I recommend just attaching it like you did with the other squares and leaving out maybe a couple of stitches so that your neck fits comfortably. To attach the arm panels, I first placed it so that one square is aligned with one square from the front panel and one square from the back panel. Then I sewed it together horizontally. After that, I folded it to how it would look like when it's completed and sewed from the bottom of the cardigan up towards where the armpit would be and down the arm. And once that was all finished, I repeated this for the other arm panel. Once it was all complete, it looked like this, and seeing it all together made me really happy. The next day, after weaving in all my ends, I attached my crochet hook to the middle of one of the front panels and attached my yarn to chain 150 to create a little tie string. I did this for both sides, and after I blocked the cardigan and it was finally complete. Here is how the cardigan came out, and I am really happy with it. I feel like I could have done a little bit better on the colors, but I was using just random yarn that I got from Joann's and some extra yarn in the closet when I was running out. And I didn't initially want any of the orange here, but it was one of the only colors that went with the main color scheme that I was doing. And so I just had to deal with it. This is what the back is looking like. And it's heavy, but in a good way. Like, it feels like you're wrapped in like a really thick blanket, and not to the point where it's like weighing you down. I was thinking of adding this little string up here as well. I feel like that would be really cute, but I just kept it right here for now. And the sleeves are slightly long, like my hands are just barely coming out, but when I put them down, it's completely covered. But I still like them. I think it's really cute. It's very easy. I made this in one day. It's very easy to make, and you can do an array of different colors. You can style it a little bit differently, maybe add different types of yarn, like maybe some mohair in there to add texture and everything. Add that little like sparkly yarn and stuff and just make it really cute. To make the halter top, all I did was create one granny square for a total of 10 rows with a 5mm hook and wait for yarn, switching colors for each row. The amount of rows can differ from person to person, but I just do as many that will cover my front as well as reach a nice length for my torso, which for my square was 11 by 11 inches when blocked and 16 by 16 inches when the granny square is diagonal. For the top of the granny square where my neck will be, I created a chain of 150 and then simply placed it into that corner space at the top so that I have a way to tie the square at the top around my neck. For the side ties, I attached my hook to the stitches and chained 150 as well. And then weaved in all my ends from the chains so that they won't fall off. And just like that, the halter top was complete. Here is the finished granny square halter top, and I think it's so cute. Like, you can do an array of different colors to match like specific outfits, and this literally took me maybe less than 3 hours to do, so you can make probably a whole bunch in one day. It's very comfortable. By the way, everything in this video has been blocked, and at first, I was scared that this was a bit too small for me personally, but after blocking it, it fits 10 times better and really covers everything that it needs to cover. It's not tight around my neck, but I feel like it's tight enough to where it's not gonna fall off. The only thing is that this back drawstring, it feels a little loose. And so I feel like maybe if you want extra support, you can add another like tie right here and then tie it to the back as well. So you can know, okay, this is not falling off unless someone pulls the string or something. But yeah, this is really cute and I'm really happy with it. To make my hexagon cardigan, I started the hexagon by first creating a slip knot and chaining 4. After, I slip stitched into the first stitch of the chain, which joins it in the round. I chained 2, and in that little gap that joining in the round made, I worked 2 double crochets. The chain 2 that I started with counts as a double crochet. After, I chained 2 and in that same space worked 3 double crochets. After, I chained 2 and worked another 3 double crochets. I I repeated this one more time to create a total of 6 sets of 3 double crochets. To end the first row, I chain 2 and slip stitch into the first stitch of the row. I then slip stitched down the stitches until I reached the closest gap. There, I placed my hook inside the corner stitch and switched my yarn to white by attaching it to my hook. To start the second row, I chained 2 and worked 2 double crochets into that space. After, I chained 2 again and worked 3 double crochets into that same exact space. In the next space and the other spaces after that, I worked 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Doing this forms the corner sections of the hexagon. Once I reached the end of the row, I slip stitched into the first stitch of the row, then slip stitched down until the next chain 2 gap. In that gap, I attached my black yarn and chain 2, which counts as a double crochet. For row 3 and all the rows until the last row, which for me was row 25, for the first corner space I worked 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets all in the same space. Then in the middle, which is between 2 corner spaces, I worked only 3 double crochets. The middle sections don't need any chains, just 3 double crochets. Then in the other corner spaces, I worked 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Again, the middle spaces only get 3 double crochets, and then the corner spaces get 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Here is the first half of my hexagon cardigan all complete. I did a total of 25 rows and made sure to start with black and end with black, since I think I would just prefer a black border on it. And so when it's all folded, I would just fold it like this. So like basically your arm will go here, and then this is gonna be the torso area, and this is gonna be like where the armpit is, and it's gonna be slightly big, which I prefer. So now all I have to do is just make the second half and put it together. Once both panels were complete, I folded the panels to where it looked like how it was going to be worn. And on the part where I'd prefer the back to be, added 1 more row of black just to that specific side. So I first attached my yarn to the corner space of that side, worked 3 double crochets in that corner space, then repeated this going down the side, only working 3 double crochets into each space. In the last space, I worked 3 double crochets, chained 1, cut the yarn, and pulled to secure. Then I repeated this on the other panel. Once that was done, I folded it inside out, making sure that the extra rows I just did are side by side. Then I slip stitched the extra row sides together so that the cardigan attaches in the back. Once it was attached, I created the shoulder and sleeves of the cardigan by slip stitching from one end of the arm sections all the way until the end of that panel, then reattached my yarn on the second panel and worked all the way down until the end of the second arm section. And for the slip stitches, I'm just working into every stitch I see, not in the gaps. Once everything was attached, I folded it right side out and the hexagon cardigan was complete. Here is the final piece that I made, and this is actually my favorite out of all three, just because how beautiful the pattern turned out. Like, if you can see, there's the different sections that separates the sides, and like the corner stitches right here, they just really add more to the pattern and it makes it look really, really cool. It's very comfortable, and I feel like you can really dress this up or down, where if you want this to be an inside of the house type of thing, you can, but if you want to wear it as a statement piece with a cute outfit, you can do that as well. This is what the back looks like, and at first I was kind of worried because I only did one extra row in the back, and I was scared because I thought that I had to add more so that my neck will fit here, but it was perfectly fine. So if you have any trouble like feeling that it's a bit like too tight or something, all you have to do is just add an extra row to the back before attaching it, and then you'll be good to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know which one was your favorite in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Before we go, I want to quickly say thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that allows you to create your very own website. If you want to design your own website, yet you don't know where to get started exactly, Squarespace offers a wonderful amount of templates to get you started. There's numerous amounts of categories to choose from, whether you're wanting to create a portfolio or a blog, plus you can customize them even further with their easy-to-use designing interface. If you're someone who's wanting to sell products, whether they're physical, digital, or even memberships, Squarespace has all the tools you need to get started, like their commerce tool, which allows you to track orders you've received and even offer ways to develop your shop even further. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your site, go to squarespace.com/ecoshun for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.